The Lost Art with Andrew Cox podcast. Marine Corps League and Till Valhalla Project Ambassador. Now streaming on all major podcast platforms. Thanks for tuning in to the podcast that's given a voice to our veterans. The Lost Art with Andrew Cox.
Hello, my friends, and welcome back to the Lost Art Podcast. That podcast giving a voice to our veterans. I'm your host, Andrew Cox, and today we're having a fireside chat with the crew. But before we get into the episode, are you enjoying the podcast? Make sure you go to the website. That's thelostart.podbean.com. Go check us out. See what we're all about. There are a couple ways that you can help support us in getting our veteran voices out for all to hear. One of those ways, when you go to the website, you can click on that one-time donation. You can go in there and give us one-time donation. Or you can become a patron. That's a monthly donation. Or heck, you can just go in there and get you some cool merchandise, help spread the love of the podcast. And if you're out there, you got a business, something like that, you can advertise right here on this podcast, which is a pretty cool deal too. All right, big shout out to the Till Valhalla Project. They're out there doing some amazing things. If you guys don't know anything about them, go check them out. Even if you do know something about them, go check them out. They got all kinds of new products out there, and you can help them in their mission by going and purchasing some of their awesome gear. But you can see them at tillvalhallaproject.com.
Are you a Marine veteran? Are you missing that bond you had on active duty? Then I have a place for you. Join the only congressionally chartered Marine Corps veteran service organization, the Marine Corps League. Get that brother and sisterhood back in your life. Become one of the fewer, the prouder, a Marine Corps League member.
Let's go around the country. Did you guys see that? I actually got it right that time.
Boom.
Yeah. It's the first time I've gotten that one right since I started it. But Mike, how you doing?
I'm good. It was a nice blistering 102 day here in Southwest Georgia while I was trying to cut grass. So it was a good time.
Yeah.
Other than that, yeah, I'm good.
Okay, good. Are you starting the handlebar mustache thing? Is that what you're getting on?
I need to get on it here a little bit. I was just trying to get it to grow. And then
let it go.
I need to get some. They still make mustache wax?
Yeah, they make it.
Oh, yeah, the hipsters have been ingesting that heavily, man. That's like way comeback.
Yeah, I gotta try some of that and slick it up or do something.
Yeah, you do. Yeah.
That works for you. Mine's like 10 times whiter than that, so that's out.
It's funny. This is dark, but this is white.
Yeah.
There you go,
like,
man.
Really?
Yeah. All right. Bone, how you doing?
It's not 102 over here. It's a balmy 71 in the direct sun.
Wow.
Like bright sunlight. The birds are chirping.
Yeah.
How are you making it?
It's so rough, dude.
Bone's got to put a hoodie on this time of day.
Actually, I went down to little town Fairhaven and took my dogs out to the beach, and of course it's the beach, so it's 65, windy, right? Like we just running a candle delivery errand, and then I was like, what in God's name? This is the end of July. But no, man, it's beautiful weather. This is the kind of weather where it's still green almost everywhere, and
nice.
people think it's like this all the time, and it's just not. It's just not. But I'm loving it now. I'm soaking it up, and good times.
Yeah. Well, heck, it's just the three of us tonight. Everybody else is busy. Busy bees. It's the summertime, Sensei's driving his motorcycle across the country. That's pretty cool. So
Yeah, I was going to say that on his pedal bike, on his Schwinn.
His pedal bike, yeah.
It's the Pee Wee Herman Schwinn, though. It's that super sick one. If you had that, man, I don't know.
Yeah.
I'd ride it.
Yeah, buddy. That's pretty cool.
You got the banana seat, the ape hangers on it, man.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, man.
Got his playing cards in his purse going.
Sounds like a real bike.
Getting it running loud. Yeah. Man, who didn't do that when they were a kid?
Oh man,
Man,
I
that
did.
was so much fun.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, going downhill sound like you were really whining it out too. Like,
Yeah, it's real good until you wreck or something, and then
yeah, well, it sounded good. When I got to the bottom, I didn't have any brakes, so that was the downfall of that bike.
Yeah, those were the days when we had no handbrakes. It was the reverse back brake,
Yeah,
which is
yeah.
just it's got your rear end's gonna break loose, and you only need 10 degrees to spin around and just eat it. I never quite figured that out. I had some epic wrecks as a kid. It continued into adulthood. It's just the cost of what I'm crashing is just dramatically escalated. But yeah, bikes and that, and then those damn metal pedals. Where it was like the graded, it was like scalloped. It was almost like a orange peel zester. But that's the stuff that you'd hit your shin on, and
But they were supposed to give you grip, but
that was the worst.
They find a way to get something other than give you grip.
Yeah, always right. Or you're trying to pedal barefoot because you're a little kid, and then you're like stomping on that, and it's just I don't know. It's the flesh-eating metal pedals of our youth, but I don't know. They made us hardier, I think.
Yeah. That or you're missing a pedal and you just got a thing sticking out.
Yeah.
Next thing you know, it's sticking in the side of your shin, or it's like that's not supposed to be there.
That's rough, dude.
Now I don't know about you guys, but I used to go skateboarding all the time back in the day too. When we were young. So
one thing I couldn't do, I could never skateboard. Tried, but
yeah, I mean, neither. Never got.
I was no Tony Hawk, I could tell you that. But I could at least skate, like move myself from one point to another. I was never good at ollie-in or anything like that. I just couldn't do it.
Yeah, no, I never got into it, man. And even when it was taken off,
Yeah.
I didn't even get into the game Tony Hawk Pro Skater, which that was,
that was a Nintendo game, wasn't it?
Yeah, but I think it was on PlayStation. I don't know. That was that was the game. Yeah, that was everyone's lock yourself in a basement and everyone's smoking weed and playing that for 8 hours a whack. Just craziness,
But I think like skateboarding and that, it's accepted now. I can remember in the 80s, it was like got city cops every time a kid had a damn skateboard out. Getting called and chasing people all over the countryside, running through yards, freaking trying to hide. It's like they're in an empty parking lot.
Yeah,
it'd be summertime,
or like a pool somewhere.
Yeah, there's nobody. There's no cars in this parking lot, and you're chasing them out because they're just skateboarding. I mean, now you stop and think about it. It's like okay, but they were the
menaces, man. Menaces.
Oh yeah, they were the ones that. Parents are like, stay away from those kids. They're bad news. And it's like, all they're trying to do is skateboard, but you're fine with me going roller skating. It's like, really?
Yeah. Yeah.
I'd be more worried about somebody in those little nut huggers and roller skates wheeling around by like freaking Terry from. You want that guy on the corner, like the other dude.
That was pretty good,
dude. Just I mean, it's
nice reference. Yeah, it was good.
It's dubious. Yeah. I mean, give me the kids with the skateboards, man. Yeah.
Now, did you guys go to the skating rink as well? Did you guys have a skating
rink? That's
what
I'm saying. They were fine with me strapping on the skates and doing that.
Yeah.
Man, I could skate some roller skate, but
we
could never do a damn skateboard.
No, couldn't do that. Couldn't rollerblade either for nothing.
Yeah.
They have a buddy.
I couldn't. I never could either. My son did it because he played hockey, but he sat out here in the road with inline, rollerblades or inline skates on, and he'd drag his net out there, and he'd be out there shooting pucks in there, skating around, and I'd look out the window, just peek out, and all of a sudden I see him catch a rock. Next thing he's, like.
And you just see dollar signs, cartoon dollar signs, like, "Oh, it'll be okay." And then, thank God, it's a kid. jumps right up.
I'm like, put some damn pants on. Quit wearing freaking shorts.
Yeah, no kidding.
What fun is that?
He thought he was Sidney Crosby out there cutting a turn and doing a juking and jiving, and he zeked when he should have zagged and went down on his face. And I was like, okay, well, that didn't work out. But
Well, that's how you learn.
yeah.
Well, or you just don't.
Yeah.
I mean, that's with everything.
I mean, that's.
It doesn't matter where or what.
Yeah.
You're going to learn by your mistakes.
Somehow. Yep.
But you all know
Or
roller
not.
skating at the skating rink, it was always, couple skate and all that stuff. So that was always the big deal on a Friday night. Not that I had everybody to skate with, but,
Yeah.
it's like, I'd just stand there and be like, woe is me.
Not that I think it was way later.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Listening to Bon Jovi or something. It's like, yeah, cool song. Yeah.
Now, did you ever have it where they would do the reverse? You had to go the opposite direction? Man.
Yeah, that screwed me up, man. Trying to do that crossover is like,
yeah, that was tough. That was tough. I was good going regular. Yeah, nope, turn it around. I'm like, yep, I'm gonna go right off the skating rink. There we go.
Completely horrible
As soon as you take me
equilibrium.
off the NASCAR sequence, it's like, nope, ain't no road course here. I can't.
Yeah, I can't make right hand turns. Just a series of lefts or one continuous left. And you're like,
I can do the left. I can do the
that's
left
hard.
turn.
Yeah, man.
Those right turns are tough. I think I would have been good with driving in NASCAR. I do good on those left-hand turns.
I mean, yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah. Well, and it's all
It's
they
all
got the
good.
restrictor plates and all this stuff. It's
Oh,
stock
yeah.
car, like, yeah, they got a, you know what I mean? Like, it's fair. It's an even playing field.
Yeah. True.
It's not like that F1
which is how
where
it should be.
the really, really rich guys and the Italians got the fancy cars with better jet engines, and the poor folk can't. Poor folk, lesser teams, are at a disadvantage kind of stuff. I'm like, also, you don't just take lefts, so I don't know. It's what it is.
That's high speed racing right there. That's a little too much for me.
Did you guys see that movie? It came out a few years back. It has God, what's his name? It's Batman.
I did.
He was what is it? Ferrari versus Shelby or something like that. It was the
Ford. No, yeah.
It was Ford versus Ferrari or
Mustang versus something. I didn't see that.
But
one.
it was that Shelby, that the Ford GT, whatever it was.
Yeah.
But they had a whole fleet of them basically. Racing, but it was Shelby that really pushed that car, and he got a driver to do it. And then of course they tried to restrict him and said, "Oh no, you can't. We can do this." And it was pretty interesting because what I read about it, because I actually watched it on a flight, but when I read into it, it was Shelby when Ford, the grandson of Henry Ford, actually showed up to see it. But then, of course, he had his vice president there that was making all these demands, and he wanted this, he wanted that, he wanted to shut him down. He didn't want him to. He wanted like other teams on the Ford team to have an advantage over Shelby, and Shelby's basically, I'm not playing this game.
Yeah.
So Ford showed up, and he was like, so where's all my money going? I'm going to get, what's going on? He said, well, get in, Mr. Ford. And of course they got to throw him in it basically because it wasn't a car you just got in.
Yeah.
And they closed it all up. He started up and he stomped on it. They're on a damn flight line. And he just took off, and Ford's like, oh my God. He just comes around and just, and he's crying. Then he looks over, he's talking to him about it, and he stops the car, like slams on the brakes. He said, Mr. Ford, you okay? And he goes, if my grandfather could see this today, he'd never believe it. It's like, that car, and it beat Ferrari. It's amazing when you stop and think about it, what that car had the ability to do. But that car also killed that driver because they ended up they didn't
Oh,
play
that
it.
man, those. I mean, that's
They
been
didn't
going
play
on
by
with
the
every
rules.
racing thing.
Yeah, but they went back after
dude.
after that big race they did, and something happened and it got loose, and the car disintegrated, and killed them. But it was a good movie if you get a chance to watch it. But yeah, that was now that we're talking about racing, it's
I
amazing.
just watched the new F1 with. Well, I know. Well, it's great.
Brad
I mean,
Pitt.
there's a long history. I just watched the new F1 with Brad Pitt. I brought my daughters to it. My youngest is an actual F1 fan, so that's the only reason that I know quasi anything about it. But no, it's pretty cool, right? But good movie. Probably, I mean, just like all those movies are good, and all those old backstories of stuff. Like, I don't know. Like, one of my favorites is like Lamborghini and Ferrari hate each other. Well, Lamborghini didn't used to make cars. They used to do tractors and like, I don't know, like just Italian field equipment, right? And then Ferrari's trying to do something, Lamborghini comes out and he's like, "Hey, excuse me, maybe make it a 16 valves or something." He's like, he tells him to eat shit because he's a tractor mechanic. And then Lamborghini's like, "What? Like, hold my, I mean, hold my wine." And then like makes a car, and now you have all of this. Like, yeah, it's insane. So yeah, the whole thing's just like, but you can imagine that, just like the Italian crap talking, like two dudes screaming at each other, and then just building 32 valve, engine race cars eventually. Putting the motors in the back where they don't belong, where God didn't intend, or I don't know.
Yeah, very strange.
10 cylinders. Yeah, that one. What was that? The Ferrari or Lamborghini was a 16. Was that?
I think Ferrari Ferrari had the 16 first or something like that. Yeah.
I have no idea.
But it's just wild. It's just amazing. Like, I don't know. Yeah. People like can engineer, design, develop, test all that, but then they also just put complete psychos in the driver's seat or the cockpit of these things, and they're like, "Yeah, man, like, hit go," and then
well, it's like being a test pilot. Can you imagine that? I mean, it's it's like, hey,
no,
we don't know if this thing's going to blow up or not, so if you want to go ahead and hit it, all right. It's like, get on it and see what it does.
I just interviewed it.
I'm a mediocre enough driver.
I just interviewed a test pilot. His episode will be on, I think, not this week, but the following week, I think. But he was a test pilot back in the day, Air Force test pilot. And we did part 1, so I think there'll probably be part 2, part 3 at least. He's going pretty in depth in some of the stuff, which is really cool. But yeah, that's going to be a cool episode. I think everyone will dig that. I had something else I was going to say, but I don't remember what it was.
Crazy to think. I interrupted you with my scathing critique of my driving abilities, but which have only gotten worse. So it's what it is.
It's gone.
All right.
It's gone.
What are you going to do? What are you going to do?
I remember. We talked a little bit about it on the last podcast, but man, everybody's dying off on us. Man.
Yeah, you got Hulk Hogan, Ozzy Osbourne.
Oh, yeah, Hogan.
Yeah, what is this? Malcolm Jamal. Yeah, whatever from the cop.
Oh, yeah, he drowned or something? Like,
yeah, accidental drowning is what they're saying. But it was somebody else, and Chuck Mangione.
Yeah, Mangione, yeah.
He passed away, and then there was
the flugelhorn guy from King of the Hill. That's wild.
Yeah.
Oh.
There was another one too, and I can't remember who it was.
That's everybody.
Now.
They say
if you look on social media, everything's
like 5. It's not good.
Everything's just nonstop. It was Ozzy Osbourne. Now it's Hulk Hogan and all that. So
yeah,
that's what I was trying to do last Sunday, was talk about that Black Sabbath benefit concert, and I wasn't able to communicate all that well. So there was one too many bourbons in my system at that point. So
it happens to the best of us.
But I mean, the money they raised,
especially when it's 102.
Yeah. Yeah. If you're not hydrated.
Oh, that's good stuff. So
what
speaking
there
of
is
Hulk
though,
Hogan passing,
for when Sabbath came out?
were you guys into wrestling back in the day?
Oh, who wasn't?
Wow. There's got to be at least one.
I mean, from like middle school through high school, I had a run into my early 20s, and then it kind of faded away, got out of it.
Yeah.
But I mean, into like 21, 22, like just big into it, and for that very reason, like the soap opera and the pageantry, and just like the nonsense of it, knowing full well it's semi-scripted, but whatever. But like, yeah, just I loved it. It's like
back then, though, we
so
didn't
good,
know it was scripted.
That's true.
We stood there and looked at it like
my
that when you're really
grandpa
young,
swore up and
like,
down that it wasn't scripted. They were religious, man. They watched it every time it came on.
It was real.
Yeah, every Saturday night.
I mean, they're really
on,
fighting each other.
It was like that excuse to sit there and watch, stay up late. It's like,
oh yeah,
Hulk's on. There's Roddy Piper, and
or Thursday Nitro,
Gene, and yeah.
That was back when wrestling was fun, right there. I enjoyed it back then.
Sundays it was on, like noon or something like that. As soon as we got home from church, man, turn the TV on, and it'd be.
You get all upset if the preacher
she goes, turn that wrestling off. It's time to eat. I was like, no. You'd be sitting there listening to it. What was the one guy that had that?
You had Arn Anderson in the background.
Yep. But that one guy was the Claw or something. He would do that. There'd be blood running down her face and all kinds.
With the sock. That was Foley. That was not Mankind. Yeah, Mankind. Yeah. And then he just was doing himself. When he took off
but there
the
was
mask
somebody before him that did it, right?
There was one in the 80s that did. I can't remember his name, because you had the Iron Sheik and all those guys were constantly going at it. You didn't see a lot of it on TV, but you would see the magazines at like the store, and there'd be blood running down their face, and there'd be all kinds of stuff. And this one, man, he was a friend of mine, in elementary school, and then we got into middle school. But his name was Chad, and man, he swore to God that was as real as it is. Like, Chad, you do realize that's fake? He goes, it is not. I'll fight anybody that says wrestling's fake. I'll fight anybody right now.
Until you hit somebody in the back with an aluminum folding chair, and you realize if you do it right, it doesn't hurt. I am hitting you with this chair. We got really good at it. We just you start looking at the science, and you're like, wait a minute. It's awfully light and wide, and then the bam. So then you're like just cracking dudes as hard as you can, but then they're taking the dive, trying to sell it, right? And then therein is that's in the beauty, right? Like it's so real, and you are getting smacked around and thrown and landing on.
Well, I mean, they do take some brutal hits and some brutal falls. I mean, they really do. But
good. I mean, it's good, wholesome fun. It's good stuff.
Yeah. You got to be able to put up with it. I wouldn't be able to put up with it.
Guys get really hurt too. Like, broken necks, broken backs.
Yeah.
Oh, what about the one where
wild injuries?
Foley was fighting. I think it was Undertaker, and they were doing the cage match, and he fell through the cage onto the mat, and then like his tooth came out, but then it came out of his nose. It was like sticking out of his nose.
Oh, like through the.
Yeah, they thought he would. They killed him. They freaked out. Like there was a story of the Undertaker telling. I think it was the Undertaker, but he was like, "I thought I killed him. I thought he was dead."
Yeah. Well, the sad thing is how good they were all friends.
Oh yeah.
They'd sit there and talk everything through before they went out and how they did stuff and. You didn't realize that. You thought they were all like mortal enemies, and what's his name, Randy Savage, and then frickin' what were the two brothers, the British Bulldogs, and Andre, and they'd all be sitting back there, the Iron Sheik, and all those guys. They'd be like, all right, we go out.
Well, he had some problems.
Yeah.
You have to. Have you guys seen the?
Man, Iran's not so bad. It was the 80s.
What is the guy that's real popular now that's in all the movies? The Rock, Dwayne Johnson. There's a TV show about his life growing up because his dad was a wrestler as well. And it's a pretty interesting show. Did you get any of that? No? Mic check. Testing. One,
I
two,
heard
three.
you. I heard you.
Oh, okay.
Oh, yeah,
it
it was
The Rock,
it was,
but Cena, like John Cena, who's
yeah.
Yes, the Rock. It's of him growing up.
Yeah, what was it called? Little something.
Yeah, I don't know. My wife would be able to tell me. If you're
Yeah,
out
I
there,
watched
sweetie,
like the first
tell us
season
what it
of
is.
Yeah, because like his dad, was a wrestler, but then he kind of did a shady deal and with WWE or WWF, whatever it was at that time, and he got kind of blacklisted. And he tells the whole story about when Hulk Hogan had that. Some company gave him that Hulkamania headband or whatever.
Yeah.
And he threw it, and he gave it, and Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson caught it.
Oh, really?
And after the fact, it was actually in a TV show, but I was actually reading an article on it just yesterday, I think. But he was talking that, it was like his dad was there. What was his name? Rocky.
Yeah.
Was The Rock's dad, Rocky Johnson or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And they were all, it was like kind of an after party, and all the wrestlers were there. And Hulk Hogan walks up and goes, "Hey, little man, I need that headband back."
Oh, yeah.
And he's like, "No," he said, "you gave it to him." He goes, "I need that headband back. It's one of a kind." And he took it from him. He's like, "Give it back." But supposedly, he had, finally got them made. The company was making them, so that he actually gave him one back. But he basically told him, he said, "Either give it to me or I'm going to freaking beat your tail right here," to him as a kid. He said, give me that headband back.
Yeah. Young Rock was the name of the show.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
oh man,
It was a good show, though. I enjoyed it.
Young Rock. Huh.
Yeah,
But it's funny because the premise of it is him talking back about his past, but he was running for president or something.
Yeah, in the
it was
show,
weird. I
like
don't
the
understand.
current time is he was the president or something, getting ready to run.
The president called him and he's like, "Hey, we got to cut this short.
Yeah,
President's on the phone," or something like that. And it's like, because when there was that hubbub of him possibly running for president, so it became a part of the TV show. It was like, "Mr. President, I got to take this call. It's Mr. President." "Yes, Mr. President."
Yeah. That was a good show, though. I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
And that's one of the things that I thought was cool in it. It showed all the background, like how all the wrestlers were basically all friends. They all hung out, and there'd be little tips here and there, but for the most part, they were all buddies.
Yeah, he'd get home from school or something because he got kicked out of school or something like that, and he'd walk in and they'd all be sitting in his living room. The freaking Andre the Giant standing there, sitting on this, on the couch, looks like a little kiddies chair or something, and there's all those guys. It was funny. He's like, "Oh yeah, they were all family."
Right.
I was
Uncle
watching
Andre.
a documentary.
Could you imagine? That would be cool.
It would be. It'd be awesome. I was watching a documentary about Andre the Giant, and people were talking about him, and it was like, and I don't remember who said it, but it was like we were in this elevator together, and then a bunch of hot chicks come on, and Andre like looked over at him and hit him, and then he just let one rip, and it was like because he's so big. And he said it was the most foulest smell you've ever smelled in your life. And like the elevator opened up, and everybody like was clamoring to get out. And now Andre's back there. Apparently, he used to let him rip like that all the time. But
wow.
Anyways. I don't know how we went that far into.
We went from Formula One, from NASCAR
we got
to
all the way
skating to
down the
skateboarding
wrestling
to-
rabbit hole.
Yeah,
Well,
this
that
is a good
was
podcast, man. We're doing
Oh,
good.
Extreme to semi-extreme sporting. It's good for
Yeah.
you. Is what we're getting at, right?
Yeah. Good point. Well, anything you guys want to chat about?
Gosh, what had come up? I did say. Oh, I mentioned last time we were talking about hey, our eggs good? Hey, this and that, and the whole mental health minute. But man, that vitamin D, and I just want to say that I am not a naturopath or nutritionist, so whatever, you can take or leave my sage-like advice. But you don't get enough just from your diet, and you sure as heck don't get enough just from the sunshine, right? So a great many things come into play with that. And for me, I get it 3 months out of the year with the sunshine in concert. But luckily, Mike and I have these excellent sun domes that absorb more light, but we also tend to wear hats, put on a bunch of sunscreen when we're going to be out. So, I mean, if you're slathering yourself in SPF 100 and hiding under a tent, you're not getting vitamin D from the sun. That's, the precursor produced by your skin that then gets converted to active vitamin D, right? And eating it, you just can't eat enough. So it would be one of those supplements that I would say, I think, how much it does help your mood and mental health, how much it does help certain things, needs to be researched more, or is maybe hard to fully quantify and just, say it's gospel. It will do this if you eat this much, but it's for dang sure something everyone should take, because I mean, unless you're living in one of those blue zones, you living life in a Speedo, you're just not going to get enough of it, right? So it's go find a good legitimate supplement and take your vitamin D and try and get a little sunshine. Manage that with your skin cancer risk and obviously your whiteness. So I know there's some Irish folk and vampires that are going to burst into flames. So be smart. Don't go get a sunburn, but I mean, take advantage, because you need it for your strong bones and teeth, and it helps your muscles and all that good stuff. And with that too, you take your vitamin D, good balanced diet. But for guys like us who are slowly and gracefully aging, we're also slowly losing the amount of testosterone, the amount of free test we have in our bodies. And these things all work together and coincide. So having a little bit of cholesterol from eggs and the protein from a steak, that's your natural, tea maker, right? That's the building blocks, right? You need these fats to make, to make these hormones and or some of these fat soluble vitamins to be transported about. If you don't eat a drop of fat and you don't take a reasonable amount of protein, you're going to wither away, and you're also going to be producing less of these these hormones that we need, testosterone, human growth hormone, things like that, right? So gluttony kills that too. So you don't want to be a fat body, but by depriving yourself of all these things or being really deficient, not good, man. So either do your own research and, try and supplement that vitamin D and get a workout in, get some weight bearing work in. Your body's going to love it. Your mental health's going to love it. And, and hey, go see a naturopath, go see a nutritionist, get a blood test, see what you're missing or not. We don't all have that time or money, but there's plenty of resources, and just look into it for yourself. And again, I would say if a cheap a cheap and reasonable supplement that almost everyone's deficient in is vitamin D. So start there and then work your way up to dealing with the Rock's gear guy, and God knows what he's on. But like that's out of my budget. So that's where the advice stops. But yeah, no, I just wanted to say that, man.
That was good.
I wish I had that kind of work ethic that I could do. Like him and what's his name, Mark Wahlberg.
Yeah.
You ever see his stuff where he starts his day at like 3 a.m.
Yeah.
And he's working out, but he's dedicated to it, and it's what he does, and that's what makes him happy. And he's in bed by like 8 o'clock at night. I don't have that ability to do that. I don't mean it's great for them, but I also kind of look at it too, and this is my excuse why I can't do it, is the fact that, well, if I was making that kind of money to get paid to do that, I would do that. But
I'm not even sure I would, even if I was getting paid that
much.
You're
not mowing your own lawn.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. And gear or not, you can have all the chef-inspired health food. You could be eating brown rice and salmon every day with a steak for breakfast, and taking all the gear, taking all the test and Winstrol. You still have to lift twice a day, smart, and recover, and and cut. Like The Rock doesn't look like The Rock just because he's using a synthetic substance, and neither does Wahlberg. And I mean, I'm not suggesting that Mark Wahlberg is not natural by any means, but I'm just saying, like, good diet, good exercise, normal, healthy supplementation. Not taking Rhino 6000 from the local head shop or whatever, like mixing that with your boner pills and Red Bull. Not good.
Walking into GNC and said, "What's good? We'll try this."
Yeah. Okay. What's good? Could this fake Winstrol that's nothing but I don't know, like all it gives you is the back knee. You don't get jacked, and you're like, this is shit, But all that, because the hard work and the dedication and all that, it's like, gosh, yikes.
But you saying that, Bone, it was actually unfortunately, it wasn't the Lost Art with Andrew Cox podcast. It was another podcast I was listening to.
You listen to other podcasts.
I apologize. I admit it.
I do too. It's all good.
But anyways, they had a nutritionist on. No, it was a doctor. Cardiologist was on. They were talking to him about. They just had him on there, and he was saying exactly what you're saying, Bone. Is he gave some percentage, and it's crazy when it was like 80 some, maybe 90%. I don't remember specifically. I think he said 88% statistically of people in the United States are vitamin D deficient and iron deficient. He said it's amazing. He said it doesn't matter if you live like where you live, where you get some sun few months out of the year, or if you live down in Texas or where you live, or sunny California. They're like, it's amazing, because he said we sit and preach exactly what you said about skin cancer, SPF. You got to have this, you got to have long sleeve shirts on, you got to like us, in the military, how many people do we know have like skin cancer on their ears, on the back of their neck and stuff like that, or their nose. So everybody's wearing these big old, bushy boonie hats now for the right reasons. But he said, it's amazing the percentage of people that are vitamin D and iron deficient. And he said, I'm not talking just, like vegetarians. He said it's an actual thing now with, foods and processed foods and what we eat in general. He said it is causing these deficiencies, and he said that's why he recommends. My wife went through it. She was, she works her butt off, works nights, works multiple days in a row, doesn't sleep, but just constantly, just like in this funk. And they finally figured that out a couple of years ago. She had a thyroid issue, first of all, but she was so deficient in vitamin D, and she started taking vitamin D, and it all changed.
No kidding.
She takes a daily vitamin D supplement. And she said, if I don't take it for a few days or like a week, because, being a nurse, she thinks she would be great at following medical advice, but she's her worst. She doesn't follow the advice.
Well, and shift work's bad for everybody. And vitamin D, like I mentioned, it's not necessarily going to cure your clinical depression. Why are you depressed, right? Is it a thyroid mixed with the vitamin D because of sleep and circadian rhythms and the darkness and the whatever, like these graveyard workers and stuff? Yeah, but then there's other reasons for depression. But like if your problem is that, like the lack of the sun exposure, and maybe like you're on your feet working for 12 hours and you're drinking all your water, you're good, you're hydrated. Your pee looks right when you're checking the chart, but you're rinsing all your electrolytes out. You're eating garbage. You're rinsing your electrolytes out. You're out of whack. And like you said, it takes, like a deeper dive. Unfortunately, it usually is the symptoms have to be pretty severe or be lingering a long time where you're like, you're tough guy or you're squared away or you're a hardcore, blue collar nurse working gal. Like those chicks are just going to power through that. Right. It takes, friends or family or listening to a podcast to turn on the light. Oh man, sheesh. Well, maybe I wouldn't be so, bumpy or foggy. It's just, it's all that information's out there and it all just keeps bubbling up. And it's kind of nice that it's things like that are getting more mainstream and they're brought up in like different circles, right? Like a veteran circle, shift workers, right? We're talking about nurses, ex-cop working swings and stuff, days where I was staying up booking evidence till 3 a.m. I'm like, you know what I mean? I'm supposed to be home and home by midnight, in bed by 1. I'm not even leaving the station till 3:30, 4. You think I'm working out the next day? Not just sleeping all day till I come back in at 2 and doing, rinse, repeat. Only when I do that, now it's what? Get up, chug that black coffee, I'm going to need a Red Bull for Rockstar for, next shift. And then you're doing, I don't know, not to besmirch my beloved Red Bull and Rockstar, but they're not great for you.
No, not at all.
The cardiologist will agree with me, I'm sure. I couldn't drink that.
Well, I mean, you say that, but where are those resources for like the work you did? Or you're in a hospital working night shift, or where are those resources at that point? It needs to be checks and balances. It's like, hey, are we? And they expect you're adult enough that you're going to take care of yourself. The minute you walk out, they don't care.
Right.
Maybe that's the military aspect of it. Is we stop and look at it and say, hey, you all right? Are you doing this, you doing that? At least that's what I hope we all did. Or, it didn't always happen, but, there was more of a, try to, accountability of checking on people and making sure they're okay. Or if you started seeing things or, it's like, hey, man, man, you pulled freaking 7 in a row. I mean, are you all right?
Right.
You do need to go home. You need to go home. You got to, even if you're not married or have a family, it's like, hey, you need to, you need to go for a walk in the damn woods. You need a day just to go see something different, breathe some different air. Throw the stick in the water to the dog. It's whatever. But you can't live like that 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and expect it not to have some kind of impact.
Eventually.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Well, I think there's obviously there's a mindfulness in these like organizations, whether it's like your law enforcement, your firefighting, the military as well. There's a fitness standard, there's the PT standard, but then there's also like just that expectation and the esprit de corps with training and doing these things. Well, there's also so there's all that rah. That's what we espouse. That's what it feels good. Generally, we're more fit than maybe the average accounting population,
right?
But where the rubber meets the road is, you hear all this wellness stuff, but how is it supported? Is there a gym, a decent gym, or CrossFit type stuff, functional fitness stuff at your sheriff's office? Or can you even use it? I mean, obviously,
Yeah.
maybe before shift, maybe after shift.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe you're a young deputy with a young family and your wife has an itty bitty baby and a 2-year-old. If you think you're going to stay after work and work out for 2 hours playing grab ass and stink finger with the other deputies, you're sorely mistaken. You're going to go home and get dead. Right.
Yeah.
So that guy's not working out, or gal, and it's certain. I think certain places you do see it. I think, in some places it's not reasonable for it to be on the employer, but it benefits them too. It's a weird balance. The better in shape you are, the less work you're going to miss with illness. So the less overtime they're paying.
Mm-hmm.
If you're grossly overweight and you're carrying around an extra 100 pounds, that's not doing good things to your spine and your joints.
Yeah.
And then you go to what? Do firefighting stuff, like lift heavy things, or you're going to go fight somebody or try and run after somebody, or at least run back to your car to turn on the lights and go run after them the old fashioned mechanical way. But that's how people get hurt. You get jacked up by being out of shape, overweight, under rested, over caffeinated, and if there is such a thing, but I mean, it's like you can only prop this stuff up with like so much B vitamins and caffeine and taurine, or just like fast food and bad decision making, right? So that it's so I guess in an ideal world we would all just get to train like a third of the time, work out a third of the time, and then work. Like, wouldn't that be delightful? You could do any job, right? Like, I'd go be a chef or something, right? If that was like the construct, but it's not. It's like you either go put in your long hours, or heck, you're a lawyer. You're putting in however many days going up to a trial or a big deal. You're looking at all this stuff, right? And you're strapped to a desk reading. Like, I mean, professions across the board, but
they should look at trying to, especially like law enforcement, medical, those types of fields, looking at restructuring what the norm is for duty, if you will, or when you're working, and actually schedule in time. So if you're on a 8-hour shift, right, have 2 hours for working out, or do a 10-hour shift, 2 hours working. I don't know, something like that. But maybe have instead of 4 in the 24-hour period, maybe do 5 shifts. Yeah. That way they kind of overlap and they help each other out. Something like that. I don't know.
It's a great idea.
That would be better.
I think and they've kind of tried that suggestion in certain places. They have like shifts, right? Or not shifts. What am I trying to say? I'm not thinking of it, but they basically squads, right? Squad-based systems where there's overlaps, and generally, hopefully you like your squad, because if you do, you guys get along, you work well, great. Everybody loves and supports each other. But then there's other ones, right? There's the toxic squad, or there's what you have is it's union type stuff. There's a hierarchy. You get the baby squad, where it's like 5 junior people and a junior sergeant, right? The junior sergeant's squared away because they've been a cop for forever. But then like the little guys and gals under them, like God only knows what they're up to. And they're not learning from seasoned, right, first responders. They're just floating in their own little pool. But you can also build in training times and overlaps. And I think it works in theory. You just really have to maintain it, push it, and then find what can work for like staffing, things like that. And when you're talking about medical, especially like bigger hospital stuff, things like that, like there's just a staff shortage, and there's no
good point.
Patient or work shortage. There's an excess. So it's like, it does become incumbent upon you to like carve out that time for wellness, right? And just either taking that day off and like going to the woods, doing nothing, sleep in, get up, right? Light a candle, take a hot bath, go back to sleep. I mean, if you do that every day, I think you have depression. You like get that checked out. But, on that one-off, like that, self-care is huge. And part of it's, what we've totally been talking about. And they gotta, but that's, I don't know, man. You got to try and find the work-life balance when you're working, not just in retirement. It's, therein lies the rub.
Well, it's hard. I mean, it's hard just in regular work. I can't imagine it like law enforcement. And, that's one thing, even with my wife, I say to her, I said, you do realize there's more to your life than this. And she goes, yeah, but I mean, this is what I do.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the sad thing is like you said, you have to get along with the people you work with. And that's a whole different story, but it's funny. She's night shift. Is that Cat?
No, this is
that's baby.
This is baby.
But it's funny, and I don't, maybe, you guys had this in law enforcement, but it's funny how night shift and day shift don't necessarily get along.
Uh-huh.
Yep, they're clicked up.
It's interesting to hear some of the stories. And, there's people my wife's, she's good friends with on day shift, stuff like that. But she's like, I had to get the hell out of there because, this, and this, and that. And I said, well, especially labor and delivery, because it's, all women.
Mm-hmm.
And, I always joke with her. I was like, man, you guys have more issues, if it was a bunch of guys, but I don't think in today's world it would be that way. Either way I'm going to say it is I could flat out Andrew, if he and I were having an issue, I'm like, hey, dude, seriously?
Mm-hmm.
You can come over here and do, you can, it's something, but you don't dare say that to, God, the minute there's any kind of confrontation whatsoever.
Mm-hmm.
And, it seems to be that way, at least for her in her line of work with labor and delivery. But she always says that nonstop, that night shift and day shift have this kind of, it's like
night shift, ER, like high acuity people versus chill, mellow people. They're like, ooh, they just like, they're so feral, icky. But it's also like, I mean, the older I get, now that I'm starting this, nursing thing as a second and a half career, I look at it like, why wouldn't I go to the wellness clinic and then like hang out with hot chicks and put lotion on people and give them Botox? Like, who's the asshole here? Me, who wants to go grind and like run my brain into the ground and work? Because I'm not working weekends and night shift to prove I'm an awesome high speed, low drag. Like, nah, dude, I did it once, right? We can argue about what metrics I met or not, but you got to be nuts, dude. Like, why wouldn't you just do that? Like, but that's also why they don't, it's the day shift versus the night shift. I don't like the bosses around. I like to go do what I want. And I mean, you see in the military with different units, when there's a good leadership, good esprit de corps, and like a good unit's like humming, almost like despite itself. But then the chief leaves, and then now the commander's got to go because he's timed out, right? They either promote or get 86, and then you kind of get someone who's asleep at the wheel. You're an enlisted and an officer leader away from like complete pandemonium or just dysfunction, and the kind of dysfunction that runs people to different units or makes them retire after 8 years instead of 12 or putting in 20 or like all these little things. And you guys have all had long careers, so you got to see it there. But like that's how it goes in the private sector, and in like it's all the same, man. And
it's amazing how even supervisors and stuff. My wife's sister, she's had some issues here the last couple months where she's at, and I'm not going to get into it, but it's amazing how these supervisors, they're like, oh, we know there's a problem. We know there's really nothing we can do about it. We can't, we've got to document this, and we've got to do this and do that. And my wife's like, she said, you do realize that, right? She said, you do realize since I've been here, there's been 4 travelers quit their assignment. You know, so now they can't even be hired in this network of hospitals again because as soon as they quit, they were marked as no hires. And you've had 3 permanent staff members because of one person quit.
Wow.
Those are measurable metrics. Like,
And she's like, and you tell me that, and her supervisor's like, well, your contract's up, next month, can we plan on you to sign? And she's like, no, absolutely not. I'll work it out, but I'm not. No, I already have a job. Well, I understand. I just hope you understand. When you leave, you're going to have to do an exit interview. Basically a review on them. And I said, man, you better be honest with that son of a gun. And she's like, it ain't going to make a difference. They're not going to do anything about it.
she's right. I've seen it. You're like, there's been some scathing ones, and sometimes if it's too scathing, then you take it as they're like, oh wow, that's sour grapes, right?
Yeah, they're just bitter. Yeah,
and that's fair by the employer in some instances, but in others, it's like, if just with what you said, with the 3 people willing to burn a bridge to the ground, like, and then piss on it, it is so indicative of a different problem. If you can put it out there, right? But then sometimes, depending on the agency, the bureaucracy involved, they don't care with that either. And I've seen that too. And it's just like, well, I hope they would listen to them because they're someone really respected by their peers and the supervisors and whatever else, and up and down the chain of command. But they're like, yeah, no, like, don't. They're just gonna, like, we do it because we have to. There's HR, right? So,
Do you think a lot of it has to do with just kind of the mentality of the business world when it comes to HR and those types of things? Because you have
absolutely. Yeah. I mean, I won't say it anywhere else in the country, but I'll say here in Georgia, especially Southwest Georgia, and from Atlanta down.
Yeah.
I mean, it is extremely difficult. And I don't know how to say it nicely other than, it's.
You don't have to say it nicely.
No, I'm not going to say anything nasty or anything bad. It's just, it is amazing, the level of a sense of entitlement certain people have, and people have, and especially, I would like to say younger people, but it's not necessarily younger people either. And even my wife says that. She goes, I've got new grad nurses that have been a nurse for 1.5 years, 2 years, and they hang on to everything you have to say, and they literally will come and say, hey, this, and this, and that. If this was you, what would you do? And ask questions. And then she said, then I have other ones that are like, you ain't going to tell me nothing.
Right.
But then she said, I'll deal with, a nurse, somebody that's been a nurse for 10, 15 years, and Kelly's been a nurse going on 20 years now. Like she said, I learn something almost every day. And that's one thing she always talks about. She said, if you go to work and don't try to learn something new, then you're not progressing in this field, or as a somebody that's trying to take care of patients and do the right thing.
That's a good point.
But she, she's like, it was several months ago. Woman been a nurse for 15 years and act like taking care of a patient. I'll get to the patient when I damn well pleased to get to the patient.
Yeah, that kind of thing. It's
it's like, okay, well, they're on a doctor's orders for pain meds or this or that. She goes, I'll get to them when I get to them. All they do is sit and ring that damn call light.
Well, I wonder why they're not getting their meds.
It's like, okay, well, when somebody starts hurting, unless you keep it managed, it's hard to keep it under control at that point. So it's
when you get there, that's when you need the introspection, man. If you're acting like that, or you're that miserable, everyone needs to work. Like, I get that more than anybody, but you start looking for a new section or transition, find a new job. Maybe this is when you finally pay for more education so you can unplug from like direct patient care, or like, hey, like, I don't have the heart to deal with criminals anymore and rehabilitate them. Or, I mean, it could be anything. and it's like a little introspection. You got to go like, no, because A, it's not good for your mental health. B, it's not good for the people you're trying to serve or the business. And heck, what if it's yours, right? Like you are a paint salesman and you give a rat's about, like, if I have to explain the difference between pure white and ivory, I'm going to stab somebody.
Yeah,
like,
what's better, latex or
stop selling paint, bro. Like you're getting out to where it's like someone's about to have an accident, right?
Yeah.
And it's, you got to just try and figure it out and try and stop it there. But then people don't, right? They're just like said, entitlement can sometimes be it, time and experience, or just a lack of self-awareness. I think a lack of self-awareness is kind of goes hand in hand. It's entitlement's kissing cousin, right? They're just like, they're both, you mix those in tandem and you got a pretty awful coworker.
And the other side of that too is, we as human beings get so comfortable that it's like, okay, well, if I don't do this, what the hell am I going to do? And this is all I know, but you hate what you do. You hate what you do. But, we had good friends of ours, she was a NICU nurse. We've known her for years. Her daughter played soccer with our daughter. And she got to the point where she just couldn't. She's like, I still want to be a nurse, but I can't, I just mentally, I can't do this anymore. She became a damn school nurse in the middle school. And she goes, I'd sit and deal with kids and runny noses and have to make phone calls to come and pick your kid up or, give them ibuprofen or put a Band-Aid on. But she said, I don't have the stress that I had nonstop. And, she keeps all of her credentials up. She does everything to maintain her RN. But she's like, it's the best decision I ever made. Yeah, I took a pay cut from hell.
Yeah.
But, to her, the mental aspect of it far outweighed the monetary part of it. So
money ain't everything. It's something, and it's a stressor in and of itself when you either have none or too much. So I'm not gonna lie and tell anybody the opposite, but like you said, the mental, it's where's the balance? It's like, and if you're not growing and moving and developing, and you're getting stagnant and bitter, like I feel like. Well, what you were describing with the NICU nurse, and this is like, that's like every cop at like 20 years that they're like, when they're like,
I can imagine
2 to 6 years from retirement. It's just like, oh my God, I hate this. And this is, and it is true. It's the biggest career field with the biggest number of moving targets and what you have to learn, the laws changing and policy and procedure in this. So it's like, and it always gets incrementally not as good. In most regards, at least when it comes to the fighting of crime. We could say the mental health aspects and the amount of like access to treatment therapy has improved, but I'm talking just like what it's like, in them streets sucks. And but you gotta know when you gotta like punch out and go, or you do like, I have to eat it. But then it's like, hey, you need to get into a different thing. Yeah. Go be a school resource officer, go do this. If you're sick of detecting and you can't look at one more awful video, you imagine what kind, leave, unplug, right? And also get help. This foot stomp and rail on that. Like sometimes you are trapped financially, but in that, talk to your friends, talk to your spouse, your partner, talk to a therapist, for God's sake. Right. And then take your vitamin D. That's so huge. But that's what and now you're making everyone else miserable. You're miserable. You're making other people miserable. You're making more work for HR or this or that. It's just the bleed over, right? So it's just finding, the balance, the health, a little bit of happiness to go with that daily grind, right?
Yes.
Well,
I imagine being a cop is very similar whenever you're approaching retirement. When it's time. Like you feel it and you're like, it's time for me to go. I can't do this anymore.
Yeah. I remember talking to Andrew over the last couple of years or so before he retired last February. And, I'd been removed from the Marine Corps, situation, hadn't been in for several years. And he would sit and talk, and I'm like, how the hell are you dealing with this? He goes, I'm not.
Yeah.
He said, I ain't. He said,
Not well, I can tell you that.
He said, I'm not. He said, I'm not. And it's, some of the things you talked about, I was like, are you kidding me? And he's like, nope. Just like that.
Well,
it's like, nope.
I did get a non-punitive letter of caution from the commanding general not too long before I retired, and he was happy to hear I was retiring. I can tell you that.
Yeah, didn't they ask you if you wanted to retire sooner?
What's that?
Here you go.
Didn't the sergeant major ask you if you wanted to retire sooner or something like that?
asked if I needed to leave earlier. I was like,
That's
no, Sergeant
funny.
Major, I can sit in the office and do nothing. It's all good. I can wait.
I'll deal. I'll figure it out. And then my terminal leave will
won't walk out
start,
of
and
my
you're like,
office.
ooh, okay, if you get this on down the line.
Yeah, I remember
man.
one day, it was not even last year, it was the year, but it was you retired in 24, right? So it was like fall of 23. And he was saying, hey, my retirement, this and this and that is going to be in February. You think you can come? I think you text me or something. I text you back, and I was like, I stopped at a customer, and I was like, yeah, I said, I'll text you in a little bit or something. And I started driving, and you just I called you.
Yeah.
And I said, hey, you at work? He goes, yep. I said, what are you doing? He goes, just shut the door. He's like, I just shut the door. I was like, can you talk? He's like, yep. And I remember Jack, the chief warrant officer there, he was, all of a sudden, he like knocked in your hatch, and you said something, you're like, who's there? He opens the door, he's like, I'll be with you in a minute, sir. I hear him say, okay. It may not have quite been like that, but you're like, I'll be with you in a minute, sir. I was like, hey, if I didn't let you go, he's like, no, he can wait. I was like, okay.
Yeah, good. Boundaries. See, but then, now maybe we're just talking about healthy boundaries, and that's a good thing too, Like, I'm not, how high? Who said jump? You should get out of here with that shit. Like
healthy boundaries for Andrew. He didn't have the hair, didn't have the beard, but healthy boundaries were like, hey, dude, it's time to shave the damn mustache, man. You need to clean that thing up somewhat.
Tighten up, bro.
There was many a time I'd walk in.
Even though I think this is regulation for the Marine Corps now, is it not?
No,
you have to hit the edge. It's always
it's the edge of the Marine Corps, man.
Yeah,
the
the
freaking
corner.
pictures I see it now. No,
they ain't changing it.
No. Okay, well, I'll bring it down to here.
No,
they might tighten up the regs.
Don't do that.
Yeah, don't do that. Yeah, it looks great.
I mean, I was not doing that when I was in the Marine Corps. Yeah. So,
but I mean, hell, you can be in the Navy and have a beard now. So
yeah, it's true. Yeah.
That's just it. Like everyone's gone away from that. I mean, obviously, like can't have inflammatory tattoos or anything, but the whole generations of these sheriffs and police chiefs and stuff like that with these like, super strict. I'm sure it's different in some parts of the country, but it's like it's wide open, man. Everybody wants their hipster beard, and everyone's got a sleeve, right? It's not just for sailors and MMA fighters. Right.
Yeah.
And I have tattoos. But I'm talking like full exposure,
full
right?
sleeve.
Like, you're like, you pull down your.
Well, there was a whole
ballistic vest
generation.
and
There was a whole generation of military with Iraq and Afghanistan and everything that,
Mhm.
And it's where it all came out of. Hell, I remember in the 90s, like 29 Poems, if you had a tattoo on, you had to go to medical and all that crap had to be documented.
Yeah.
You had to take pictures of it, where it was at, if there was any,
they're doing that for every single re-enlistment now.
Oh, really?
Every single tattoo that you have that's visible in PT gear, you have to get it documented. You have to get a picture of it. You have to get an explanation of what it is, and it has to get approved for your re-enlistment. Well, I don't know if it's like that currently right now because I'm not in, but when I was in, that's how it was.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
That's active duty, right? I mean, I guess it would be the same for the reserve.
Now you could have a full sleeve. You just,
yeah.
like if you had it before, it wasn't a big deal. You could still have it.
Yeah.
Now you
Just gotta
couldn't
document
get
it.
a full sleeve at that point in time, just because they gave you very strict parameters of how you have to have your tattoo and where and
Size,
Well, we
shape,
went through such a
location.
long period of time, even when I was still in, that, we were sleeves down.
yeah.
It was sleeves down. It's time of war. We're in Iraq. We're in Afghanistan. Sleeves down. And finally, who was it? Who was it? His commandant. He said, "All right, this crap stops. We go back to the way it used to be.
Yeah.
We got to cut off here where sleeves go up. We
Jones?
got to cut off here where sleeves. I think it was.
Yeah.
I can't remember. And all of a sudden, all you saw was these sleeves go up, and it's like, God damn, when the hell did you get all that on your arm?
Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it, man.
It's like it's
Yeah,
been
forever.
That is what was happening. It is what
been
was
there the
happening.
last 5 years. I mean, what is like? Where the hell did that come from?
What they get concerned about at the upper echelons, at the Pentagon and beyond, is odd. But then you see like the commandant comes out and they'll do that, or when they're like, we want to ban every type of nicotine and other stimulant. It's like you're gonna what? Like there's no way. And it's
They
like
live off that. You can't do that.
yeah. That's like, and then you're going to move on to banning coffee next, and it's like, come on, man. I get it. It's not good for you, right? But like,
no more Zen pouches. No more Zen pouches.
Exactly. And you can't have one in your lip. What, while I'm working? You don't pay me by the hour. You pay me a lower salary because I'm in the military than what I would get in the civilians. I mean, obviously, there's pros. I'm not bad, but you know what I mean? Like, look, this is what we do. We take a tin, we put a different tin, or if it's smoke them if you got them, and we bust hump until we're released, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that's just what it is. And then you're gonna be so focused on trying to like ban that, get rid of it, undo that at all costs. But then in the meantime, you're also just letting regs go to crap, right? You're just letting kids bebop around with hockey hair and neck tattoos, and it's like, get the fuck out of here! Like, now I'm sounding old. This is my just grumpus, but it's like
back in my day.
Let's move the focus, right? Let's not worry about what mentally ill person we can shove into a cockpit, right?
Yeah.
Of a fill in the blank airframe, and let's focus on like lethality. Right. Or just being, discipline and function. Right. So like, let's do that. Right. But that's
it does
the
seem
ebbs
like
and
it's
flows.
moving in that direction now.
It is again until it's not for 8 to 12 years.
Well, I mean, it's going to do this all the time, right? One side, the other side, it's going to happen.
It is. And, at some point, at some point, some part of the military is going to be looking for those kids ripping vapes and drinking mango Red Bulls because they run the controllers the best. They have an extra thumb and a weird pinky that lets them hit the launch code. Like it's, but that's like
already looking for those guys.
They are, but how do you recruit them and then get them to like, how do you get them to not take, you know what I mean? How do you get them to come work for you?
I can tell you what the Marine Corps did. The Marine Corps took them and they hired them and gave them E7, gunnery sergeant.
Dang.
Yeah.
I guess now if you have that tech aptitude.
That is literally what they did with several individuals, or at least that's what they were trying to do. And I know one of them for sure it happened.
Yeah, that was a year or two ago, wasn't it?
What's that?
Yeah, that was a year or two ago. They started that whole thing. Yeah.
Which, hey,
I
if you
think
need
there's
them
a time and a place for that, but I don't know about I could see the structure how the Army used to have specialists, like go all the way from Spec 4 to Spec 8 or something like that. I could see that where you have a specialty type of thing, but not necessarily within the rank structure of.
Well, that's it, and it's almost just got to be a separate rank structure at that point,
But they didn't
the
do
warrant
that.
officer thing. No, they don't. And I mean, and they could, but then what happens once you let them out of the Connex box? And then they're bebopping around base with like gauges in their ear, or they're wearing. I want to wear a flight suit. You don't fly anything. You hold an Xbox controller, Timmy.
Yeah. They got
shut up with
they
that.
They're wearing aviator frames and all that shit with a beret or something. It's like, what the hell did you?
Right? Exactly, dude. Like, you know what I mean? Or I'm blousing my boots like a paratrooper. It's like, I don't know, man. That's just me being old and salty. And I know they're going to have to work out something and figure it out. And it is going to change. And in 20 years from now, we're going to be talking about this, looking back even more going like, what?
Yeah.
Like,
Even our generation, people looked at us, and then we turn around and look at, even since, 2003, 2004 was the last time I was in Iraq. It was 04.
Yeah.
But, it was lessons learned. And, and that's one thing I will say the Marine Corps is not real good at. We're good at holding on to tradition. Mm-hmm. This is how it is, damn it. We're going to do it this way. It's like, okay, why do we do that?
Yeah.
Well, that doesn't matter.
It is the way it is, but, all of a sudden they went to, not wearing a regular, blouse, like a camouflage blouse.
Yeah.
But it's, like like an Under Armour style shirt. Yeah. But it's got camouflage sleeves, but the rest of it isn't. I'm like, what the fuck is that?
The tee? Those are nice for wearing under body armor.
Well, they are.
But for regulation.
But in my mind, I'm like, where the hell was that?
Oh, yeah.
At first when I saw it, I was like, what kind of crap where the hell was that?
Nobody cared back then.
No, it was like, nope. You're going to go around and, sweat your tail off and the sleeves down because that moisture staying in is going to keep you hydrated.
Right? Yeah, you'll reabsorb it. Let me tell you, that's not how it works.
And then,
General's like, no, shut up. Like,
then they realize people getting, IEDs and getting bombed and getting burnt. It's like, you're wearing the wrong damn uniform for that crap. They went to overalls and then they went to that. And I was like, that's garbage.
And then they went to ones that weren't flammable, and they did figure it out because they were like, you can't wear that. It's going to melt you. It's problematic, right? Yeah. Especially if you're dealing with like explosive breaching or just fires in a IED blast stuff. But I know for what we were using in SWAT, you could see that development move, and that's 20 years of war in shitty places. Like, no offense, Afghanistan and Iraq.
Oh, absolutely.
The weather's not great. Is what I'm implying when I say that. But like, you gotta learn those lessons the hard way. Usually when someone gets hurt or killed, and then it makes its way back to the civilian world, which being a cop is still a civilian. They're a different kind of non-civilian, whatever. But it's like those things you see, but you also see like the cool kids get the Cry Precision ones. That's like 4 Navy SEALs had a baby that made clothes, and they sell this $600 outfit. It's like, damn, my broke ass agency ain't buying me that. Like, you know what I mean? So you get like a hand-me-down version or the, Temu. But eventually it works itself out, right? And that's lined with lead, and bat powder, or whatever the heck. But like, I don't know, these it's. Where was that? And it does move and grow, and the great stuff does come from.
Technology is ever evolving, and it's. I'm glad to see that kind of things, but now you see, like the damn Kevlars we wore had that damn webbing in it. It freaking killed your head, and you're nonstop like, oh my damn eyes. And all of a sudden they started going into the different kind of lining, and all of a sudden now they got these high end.
The scalloped helmet with the ear.
It's like, where the hell was that? I mean, that's like Halo back in the day. I'm like, shit,
that's for just regular. That's for regular jarheads and soldiers, man. Yeah, it's delightful. I started with a old, like, not Vietnam era, later than that, like 80s, 90s era helmet with that crappy liner. And my rifle plates for my Ninja Turtle SWAT gear, so it's already heavier than just a plate carrier, were 7.5 pounds each. Like that thick, like it wasn't modern, normal, like the impact panels, right? And so that's in concert with the extra padding and the things, because different mission, right? Yeah. And what they shrunk down to by the time I left, and then we were finally getting the slicked up helmets with the ear pro that you can just attach to it, so you're not wearing this under a helmet. Like, I mean, and my first shooting was with SWAT. We didn't even have Ear Pro that protected and transmitted. So guys weren't wearing ear protection.
Oh, wow.
Right? Because it was expensive. That's like Navy SEAL stuff. What do you like?
Yeah.
I'm not going to communicate with clicks and whistles and hand signals in the pitch black outside of a barricaded house, right? Like that's so. And then when it pops off, then you're like, now look, everyone's got hearing damage and
yeah,
you know, this and that, because you could have the one earpiece in, the push to talk. Okay, that's normal, but like, there's no. But guess what? After that incident, we got Ear Pro that you could plug in and protect your ears while also hearing and communicating. It's
amazing how that works, you know.
It's a cost of doing business. Sometimes you got to pay kids with gauges in their ears. You got to let them wear, Marpat sweatpants or something. And they fly the drones. It's all what it is. So.
Yeah. But the good thing is as things develop, and whether it be the police force, whether it be the military, even with doctors, nurses, things like that, as things progress and life continues to move on, we should be relieved to know that next generation is going to take up the challenge and they're going to do it. It may take them a little bit to get where we think they should be, but they're going to do it. You know, just
I think that's the biggest thing. It's not how we think it should happen, but
yeah,
everybody said that about us too. So
yeah, we did. It turned out all right.
Yeah,
I hope.
We'll see.
Little twitches here and there, but you know, for the most part, we're all right.
Yeah. Well, gentlemen, I think I'm gonna dip out. I got to go feed myself and.
You're gonna pull a Mark and you got to go cook a steak.
I gotta go.
Oh,
it's not a skate. It might be some pizza or something, but.
I'm sorry. You're in Washington. It's only kale.
Right? Yeah.
I got
kale and caramelized pear, something.
Yeah.
Fruitier.
I probably should wrap it up anyways. It's been an hour and 20 minutes that we've been on.
I just saw that.
Yeah. Guys, thanks for coming on and doing it. I appreciate it.
We did a whole lot of talking about a whole lot of stuff, man. We've been went from NASCAR to roller skating to Hulk Hogan to
we went around the world today for sure.
Yeah.
Make sure you get your D.
Yep, go out and get your D, kids. You heard it from Mike, not me.
Oh no, you're the one who brought it up. No.
That was good. Oh man. And with that, to all the listeners out there, if you're struggling, need help, anything like that, don't forget the VA has some great resources. You can always dial 988, press option 1. You can always text 838-255, or you go to veteranscrisisline.net and click on that chat icon. Any of those options will help you. No, any one of those options will put you in contact with somebody that can help you. But remember, one veteran life loss is one too many. I care about you. These guys care about you. The whole veteran community cares about you. So please reach out for help. And if you're out there, you're not struggling, reach out to the buddies you served with. Ask them how they're doing. And if they need a helping hand, please give it to them. All right, guys, one last time, thanks. Truly appreciate it. To all the listeners out there, stay motivated. Change your socks.